YouTube, what is going on? My name is Corporate Surf, and thank you for tuning in to another video here on the channel. Now, if you know anything about me, you know that Kovacs is the main game that I play. I make lots of guides for aim training specific to Kovacs. But aim training is growing every single day, and most players are choosing to play on AIMLAB. There's a bunch of different reasons for that, but the main reason that I feel like is because AIMLAB is free. So, when it comes to AIMLAB, what do I do? How do I play? And how do I push scores? If you're only interested in the method, that's all you care to watch about, I'm going to have a timestamp on screen for you guys. For everyone else though, before we get to that method, we're going to be looking at the general mindset to improving in aim trainers. This method that I'm going to be showing you here today is through the lens of tracking, but it is applicable to clicking and switching. I will have a guide for switching eventually. I have some experimental methods I've been working on. I just haven't had the time to practice them. So if you're interested in switching, more to come, but here we go. Aim training factors for success. Let's talk about what is going to make you successful as an aim trainer. The first and most obvious is commitment. You need to name your objective, know what you want, and start. You actually have to act on those hopes and wishes that you have. The second is research. What will my approach be? How is my technique right now? Where does my technique need to be? The third, this is really important, is community. Getting involved and learning from other people. You pick up skills, techniques, and practices from other people. A video like this is an example of how being a part of the AIM community can help you. And the last one here, investment. Time played. You have to work for what you want. AIM trainers are not easy. Sure, some people have more natural talent, more natural proclivity towards success on the AIM trainer. But if you look at me, I should be the example of why you have to work for what you want. It took me 2,000 hours, literal years, to hit a Celestial score. So investment, time played, putting the work in, grabbing what you want. Let's talk about what this method is. This is a hybrid of previous methods adapted to the limitations of AIMLAB. Limitations, you say? What are the AIMLAB limitations? Well, on Kovacs, it is very, very simple to make variations and edits of existing scenarios. On AIMLAB, that is simply not possible for the average user. There's too much research and learning curve, and making edits of existing scenarios is just simply not possible. So I've adapted my work to make an effective method for pushing scores. I say this a lot on my channel, but it's very true. I'm not trying to teach you technique. I'm not trying to teach you how to aim. Everything that I do is centered around pushing your progress, pushing your personal best scores. So if you're not ready with your technique, there are better uses of your time, and I would highly recommend checking out VT Matty. If you're just learning how to aim, like the points that I just made, research comes before investment. Once you're ready, that's what my channel is for. So point number 2 here with this method, the emphasis is going to remain on isolating areas of your form. You aim with muscle groups from your fingertips all the way to your shoulder. The method that I'm showing you here will help you utilize all of those parts of your aim. Okay, when to use this method? Well, if there are a lack of supporting resources like the Voltaic Daily Improvement Method by LG56, or if you have hit a plateau with your regular training, this is a great way to push through. As I just said, I don't want to replace your technique training. I don't want to replace your fundamental training, because the Voltaic Daily Improvement Method, that's going to work on your fundamentals that help build your skill set up to a certain task. But when you're ready to grind a scenario, you come to Corporate Surf. And just an example of what we're talking about here, if you search up Head Track, which is an AIMLAB official task from Season 3, you can see there's the task itself and one supporting task, a harder version. So if you wanted an easier variant or a reactive focus and a precise focus, there's none of that here on AIMLAB unless you can ask someone specifically to make it, and that's no fun. This screenshot right here is exactly why I recommend paying $10 to buy Kovacs or $15 to buy AIMBs. Look at the disgusting bloatware that's loading at the top. Look at the universal sensitivity ad in the right. The whole panel and UI looks ridiculous. AIMLAB is a great tool if you absolutely cannot pay for a different service. But this should really be all you need to see to pay the $10 for Kovacs. You can easily modify scenarios for your benefit, making them bigger, smaller, slower, and you don't need a bloated UI that's encouraging you to pay for a monthly subscription service. So that small tangent aside, let's talk again about time played. What is really so important about investing the time? Wouldn't it just make more sense if I had natural talent? Well, with time played, you learn movement reading, which is mostly specific to the scenario that you're working on, but it's also transferable to other scenarios and to in-game. I'm not sitting here telling you that an aim trainer is going to make you a god at different games, but you will learn some form of pattern recognition and movement reading skills. You will also learn optimizing crosshair placements and edge tracking skills. Of course, you can watch a video and have someone tell you how to edge track, but on a scenario to scenario basis, learning where to place your crosshair for maximum speed matching, smoothness, strafe preparation, you cannot beat playing the scenario. Next one here, form adjustments. When you're playing the scenario a bunch, you're going to notice small things. Hey, yesterday I was doing a lot better when my chair was higher. I'm going to play again today with my chair at the same height, and then I'm going to test it at a lower height and see how it works. Oh, today I did really good with my grip like this. People tend to stress too much about what their form should be like before they start playing. You learn a lot about what is your optimal form through playing. No one else can tell you how to aim. You have to experiment and find what works for you. The last thing that we learned from our time played is our potential. Not only our potential for the scenario, but your potential for the type of aim you're practicing. When you see yourself push through after an hour of hard work, you know the next time you have to do an hour of hard work, you can push through again. You're not born into this world knowing how to win. You have to learn how to win. You have to take losses and figure out what works for you. Go find your potential. Go be good at something. Alright, so we have landed on our AIMLab tracking routine. It's a 2-day program. You can do it in 1 day if you want to, but I broke it up into 2 days so you don't get fatigued. The first day will take you under 45 minutes. Just following along the program here, we're going to play it 7 consecutive times at 16 CM360, then 24, then 32, then 40, then 48, then 56. For those of you that don't know, CM360 is the distance it takes to move your mouse in one direction and have your character model complete 360 degrees of motion. In AIMLABS, you can change your setting to go from, the game you play like Overwatch or Valorant, where instead the measurement system can be this CM360, and that will make your adjustments very easy. So, that's a lot of playing. That's 42 plays. If you don't want to do it in under 45 minutes, that's fine. You can pace yourself, space these out. It doesn't matter too much. This is just the way I like to do it so it doesn't take up too much of my time. Last thing here, you'll notice it gets progressively easier as you go along. Starting at 16 CM360 is not going to be easy for a lot of you guys. I know it's going to be frustrating, but you have to trust the process. These are building foundational skills for you. By the time you get up to 40 CM360, you're going to be noticing it is so much easier. And the more that you document each of these ranges, you'll notice that you start to beat your score at each of these ranges and your overall score will improve. Alright, day number 2 then, we're going to start at 90 CM360, which is super slow. And we're going down to 50 CM360. And at each one of these points here, 90, 82, 74, 66, 58, 50. We're playing those 4 times. Now, you might say, why are we playing this less than the other day? Why wouldn't we just play 7 times for that? The ranges listed here are not optimal for a lot of people in tracking games. If you're playing Overwatch at 82 CM360, I would say, hey buddy, what the hell are you doing? I almost said a different gamer word. Now, if you're a Valorant player, or if you're going to be doing this for clicking or target switching, and you feel like you want to get those reps in at a sensitivity that's more with your game, absolutely do this 7 times. You can play each of these at 7 plays, and then on the other day, you can play that one at 4. This is just the model that I've built for tracking. So if you do it the way that I've suggested here, you're going to get those 24 plays done in under 30 minutes, and you'll feel a lot of your shoulder and your forearm and even kind of how your elbow moves back and forth. You will notice a lot more smoothness after playing on these sensitivities. So a personal anecdote here from Professor Yap before I jump into gameplay of this process, because I will be playing AIMLab Ranked Beta using this method so you guys can see it. I want to talk to you guys about what I do after I finish day 1 and day 2. Let's say on day 1, I set a personal best score at 48 CM360. On day 2, I don't beat the personal best score, but it's good practice. I can go back to day 1 again and restart the process. But if I feel like that practice has really benefited me and I want to kind of push a score, I'll go ahead and challenge myself by increasing the sensitivity at an increment of 1.5 CM360. Now, this is why it's a personal anecdote, because I've got a friend, R.A. Sear, who played at LAN at the Red Bull Ready Check, he swears by changing in increments of 5 CM360. So the example here, I got a personal best score of 48 CM360. I will play at 46.5 or 45 CM360 until I can beat that score. And then maybe I'll go back into the method again, day 1, day 2, and then if I still haven't beaten my score, I'll go 42 CM360 or 43.5 CM360. Are you following the math that I'm throwing at you? It's about progressively challenging yourself, not only because it makes the scenario a little bit easier in the long run if you have more leeway with your mouse pad, but it also pushes yourself to improve your overall mechanical skill. Playing at a faster CM360 is almost always inherently more challenging, unless there are space limitations. Obviously, there's going to be huge space limitations after 100 CM360. But the general idea of what I'm saying is progressively push yourself to improve, and one great way to do it is with your sensitivity. Okay, that's all the talking that I had to do. We're going to jump into some AIMLABS gameplay. If you guys don't care to watch that, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you later, but everyone else, we'll see you on AIMLAB. Alright, here we are on AIMLAB. I'm going into the benchmarks. This is in beta currently. Intermediate, you can see I haven't played any of these before. So I'm going to go to one that I know I'm going to be pretty decent at, which is Laser Track Intermediate. And we're going to start. So here's what I was talking about with the CM360. It says sensitivity options, advanced, distance units, centimeters. Then we go to mouse. And when it says 360 distance, this is the CM360, so I'm going to do 16 and hit save. The first of 7 plays, here we go. Alright, we did pretty daggone terrible. Let's see, all time, number 416 out of 572. That's alright though, we're trying to get better. Hey, we beat our score on the second run. Let's see here. Bottom 32 percentile still. Number 3 right here, shout out W.A. Jizu. I pronounce it Jizu. But yeah, we're making progress. Let's go into run number 3. Whoa, what a jump. So we jumped in score, but not much on the leaderboard actually. Four runs down. This is the first time we've gotten a score worse than the previous. That's alright though. Alright, we're at run 6 of 7 here. Just crushed our score again. Top 50 percentile as well. This is our last run, the 7th run at 16 CM360. Nice. We got a personal best as well. So looking at our graph, we only had really 1 point where we dipped below. Actually, there were 2 points. Runs 4 and 5, but then we kind of hit a new peak right here. So that's it for 16. We're going to go to 24 CM360 next. Alright, 24 CM360. Save that. And let's start our first run. Jeez, big jump. Almost the top 100 now on 24 CM360. Smoked that one again, and we now are in the top 100, and that's on 24 CM360. I choked that one pretty bad. First drop. I almost tied my high score there again. So we played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 2 more left here on 24 CM360. Alright, last play here. This is the 7th play for 24. Alright, so after 7, our average is much higher on 24 than 16. At 16, we peaked at 2652. At 24, we peaked at 3366. What's interesting is the 7th run here was my best, but my 2nd run here was my best. A couple of these in here might have been personal best over this one, but I choked or didn't follow through. Anyway, we're going to move on to 32 CM360. So before we start on 32, let's look at what these ranks are. It's Topaz all the way to Diamond. And it looks like on 24 we hit Emerald. So 3375 with a little more score, we'll hit Diamond Plus, changing it to 32. Saved. Here we go. Alright, well, we crushed that best score by 300 points. That's going to bring us to number 21. Let's see what it is for the week. Second overall for the week. And then let's see what it is for the month. Might be the same. I'm not sure when these came out. Nope, still 21 for the month. So that's pretty cool that we are second for the week. Let's see what first is. I don't think we'll beat number 1 for the week on 32, but you never know. Pretty huge drop here. I had some bad resets. Was not my best run right here. Okay, we're in a pretty huge downward trend. I'm losing my focus. I'm going to take a little break here and we'll come back. Hey everybody, it's Editing Corporate Serf here. I have to talk quickly because I only have 30 seconds to talk. Basically, when I was on my break, I went to tab out of the game. When I tab back in, everything looked normal to me on AIMLAB, but on OBS, the recording got a little bit corrupted. It's only for 30 seconds that this happens. I blame AIMLAB. Anyway, on 32 CM360, I didn't beat my high score. On 40 CM360, I did, but only by a little bit. We're going to come back to my regular aim at 48 CM360. Got it set to 48 here. And let's start the 7. Okay, a bit of a rough first score there on 48. The bot's pretty fast, and 48 is moving towards slower, but we'll see how we do. Decent jump up to 3693. I think we can get a new high score on the sensitivity. That's a new high score for me, but I really messed up at the end of that. This could have been 4,000 or more. We're still at number 12, so we will keep going here. Alright, so we pushed through a little bit more. 39.29. That is a top 10 score here. And for the week, it is number 1. So, really cool. Still got 2 more on this 48. Well, we dropped off hard, but it doesn't matter too much. One more run, and then we'll swap to 56. Got pretty close to our personal best, but didn't beat it. So that is the end of the 7 on 48. Gonna play our last 7 runs for today on 56, and then tomorrow we'll do the other schedule. But yeah, let's swap sensitivities real quick. Alright, we got 56 here. Wow. So we got 39.85 with our first score on 56, which is really cool. Maybe we can get the 4,000 mark or even jump into the winner's circle here in the top 3. Well, I guess those 4,000 goals were ambitious because that's a massive drop off. but that's all right. We've got 5 more plays on 56. There's a much better score. All right, we're down to our last 3 runs. We're going to see if we can break into the top 5. If not, all good. We're still aiming tomorrow, but let's see what we can do. All right, again, not a bad score. It's almost exactly the same as the last one. Well, we're definitely improving our consistency. That seems good. One last run for today. Let's get a good one. Hey, that's a really good one to end on. So, in under an hour with a break, we just played this scenario 42 times. Starting at unranked, we peaked all the way up at rank number 6, and 56 is not my preferred sensitivity, but that is the high score that we got it on. There's a lot of room for my own personal improvement on this scenario. This was just basically a practice day, of course, as you guys know. So we'll see what we can do on day 2, and that will be doing a reverse order, starting at 90 and going gradually faster. So great progress here on day 1. I will cut to day 2, and if day 2 just so happens to be today for me, so be it. Okay, so here we are on day 2, 90 cm 360. We're playing these 4 times each, so let's go ahead and get started with our first runs on 90. Okay, first run we got 2930, which obviously is much lower than the rest of the chart, but not terrible, I guess. Big jump to 3531. I got pretty lucky with the bot strafes. Didn't have to reset too much. $36.08, improved again. Last run here on 90. Alright, that's pretty good training here on 90. Felt a lot of that in my shoulder, so very good practice. We're going to move on to 82 cm 360. Alright, 82, run number 1. Here we go. Well, that was slightly unexpected. 38.78, that's almost our personal best. On 82, it looks like our arm aim is pretty strong on this one, so no guarantees that I beat this 39.85 on 82, but we'll go ahead and try with our second run. Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. 36.69. Maybe I can beat this 39.85 if I get like a no reset run or something, but we'll go ahead with run number 3. Well, that was a disaster. Oh well, it happens. We go to the next one. This is the last run on 82 cm 360. Alright, that was the last run for 82. 35.90. Not bad. We're going to go ahead and go to 74 cm 360. Alright, here we're at 74. And let's start. Alright, so we beat the 4,000 threshold on 74 cm 360, which is awesome. Not much of a PB, really, but still really cool to see. And we have 3 more runs, so maybe we'll do it again. 70% accuracy. We crushed that with 41.45. So we are doing really good with the arm aim on 74 cm 360. Top 5 out of these 581 players. These 3 above me are all top aimers. This LDP made my top 50 tracking list. So did Evil, and then WA Jaizu. He probably deserved a spot on the top 50. All incredible aimers, so it's cool to be up here in elite company with them. Anyway, we've got 2 more runs on 74, so let's see what we can do. Well, that wasn't so good. No worries. One more play on 74. That's another really good run, 38.64. Really happy with my progress on 74 CM360, but now it is time for 66 CM360. So let's go ahead and make that change. 66, all right. Run number 1. First run at 37.83. Not too bad. Let's get the second run. Second run, very consistent, 37.98. Well, it is a bit annoying that I'm not getting close to this 41.45, but these are not bad scores and it's good practice, so we will get our fourth play here on 66. This is the last play on 66. Let's go! Massive jump for that. Alright, so we kind of unexpectedly hit 42.17 on 66, so very, very close to the top 3 winners circle here. Looking at the leaderboard for the week, man, I'm feeling good. Alright, let's go ahead and play on 58 CM360 now and see what we can do. Alright, 58 CM360, run number 1. $39.91, score 1, that's pretty good. Little drop, but that's nothing too bad. 38.53. Pretty major drop there. I'm a little bit tired. Gonna take another small little break and we'll come back. Alright, we just took a quick 2-minute break there. Ready and refreshed to play this last run at 58 CM360. Let's go! 42.56, the break helped. I'm hyped, that's awesome. So we're down to our last 4 runs now. Gonna play at 50 CM360 and see how that goes. Alright, we got it changed. First run at 39.58, that's pretty good. It's pretty good that we're breaking 4K on 50 CM360. I can't quite remember, but I don't think we were doing that on day 1. So, very cool progress. Dang, that run felt pretty good. I thought I had a chance at the high score. We're down to our very last run of this program. Let's see what we do. Alright, well that is it. 39.45. We have completed all of our runs for this. I got from unranked to number 4, pretty close to number 3 and number 2. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you guys find this method helpful in your pursuits. Like I said a couple times, this is mainly for tracking. If you do decide to use it on switching and clicking, Let me know how it goes. But other than that, thank you all so much for taking the time to watch it, especially if you watched this far. I really appreciate each and every one of you out there. So thank you guys again, and I'll see you in the next video.